In 2022, I fell in deep, deep love with James Joyce. Shortly after this love affair bloomed, a reconnaissance mission led me to Dublin. His works contained clues to some fulfilling pursuit, and I needed to investigate further. Frankly, I didn't know what I should be looking for, but it felt like Joyce was privy to some experiential secret that only existed in Dublin, and I needed to find it. So I took a plane and a couple trains, but surprisingly no automobiles, and I finally arrived. All I found was a city, and to my surprise, a city is a city. I had an idea of what Dublin might feel like based on what I've read from Joyce, some movies, and my crude knowledge of Irish history and culture, but it felt like any other city. I had 27 hours to spend, so I cashed them in by seeking as many Joyce pit stops that I could. I didn't want to meet people, I didn't want to do any particular activity, I just wanted to be silent and see. I moved from the Liffey to the south of Dublin Bay, all the way up to Howth and back to the Liffey. In these environs, I stopped at the Joyce Museum and Martello Tower, the Sandy Mount Strand, and key areas in Ulysses and Irish history. This short journey exposed me to such simple truths that I had hitherto overlooked. Many past summers spent lounging and swimming in rivers has taught me to never underestimate the power of water, but the Liffey showed me the beauty of water. The dart train's gentle jostling from Connolly Station to Sandy Cove revealed the conflicting effort and ease of movement as hundreds of homes blinked in and out of my line of sight. Standing alone on top of Howth Head as sunlight gradually moved to a more fortunate time zone, I desperately wished to share this moment with my loved ones at home. Why weren't they here with me? And why did I leave them to come here? Shamefully and somewhat guardedly, I'm starting to admit to myself that maybe I subconsciously planned this European escapade not to experience Joyce's muse, but rather to find myself, whatever that might mean. The banality of searching for oneself gives me diarrhea and a shiver just thinking about it. My excuse is that this search was not intentional, but I suppose most things only exist in retrospect. Regardless, I have a cheerful report to relay. I did not find myself, I found others.
He was a minister just at that time. Okay.
Unanchoring from my family, friends, and girlfriend just to moor myself in a distant harbor strengthened my grip on the bonds I shared with them. I missed them. Fortunately, this longing was tempered by the vitality that surrounded me. I was forced to contrast the countless connections all over Dublin with my singularity, ultimately morphing my conception of home. Home was no longer a question of where, but who. I look back on this single day in Dublin with a fierce jealousy of the past. If I could steal it from my memories, I'd be a shameless thief, and although I was a solo detective in this puzzling investigation, I felt more connected and assured than ever before. When I arrived in Dublin, I only saw its skeleton from afar. Buildings, paint, roads and bridges, signs and materials. By the time I was leaving, I floated amidst the current of the city's innards. Human relationships, bastions of nature, light, sound, and the music of life. In those short 27 hours, I lived and laughed and loved and eventually left